Okay. There's one line in that song that I think says it all. Do you know what that line is? There are a million, yes. But there's a moment in the song that I love so much, and it's when everything kind of stops and Alex says, I pass it off to you. That's what this year has to be about. I pass this all off to you to do something with. You can do nothing with everything that's being set up here, everything that's being taught during the week, everything that you study, all the emails you get, all of the voices from the universe you pay attention to. All that stuff means nothing until once it is passed off to you, you do something. 2018 must be about simplifying our lives enough that we actually have the time to do something. And the something I'm talking about is the something that you want to do. Not what you're caught up doing. What do you want to do? So, the title of my talk today is, How's it going so far? You've had a whole week. I mean, you've had a week of 2018. Is it any different from 2017? Yes. Okay. To the rest of you. No, it is different, but probably the reason why Reverend Nancy just yelled out yes is because she made a decision for it to be different, and it's showing up. Yes? So when we look at the past and we look at the present, what usually happens is the past becomes the present, and then the past becomes the present, and then the past becomes the present, and then the past becomes the present until we stop it. And we say, I'm done with that. I must move forward. So our theme this year is simplify, but our slogan is lean in 18. Let's all say that. Lean in 18. Now that means both leans. It means the lean. It also means lean in. Lean into your truest, your highest, your most authentic self. So, how's it going so far? So I thought I'd go through my week for you. New Year's Day, we went and saw Star Wars, right? I'm going to tell you the entire plot. We went to see Star Wars. So that was our New Year's Day. The next day, we went to the outlet malls. New shoes. So, which was really great. How many of you have been to the outlet malls in the desert? Great, okay. So Star Wars, the outlet malls. And then we started our cleanse, Kevin and I. We tend to do a cleanse every year, and since it's lean in 18, now as you can see, I don't need to drop any weight. I don't. But I do need to drop toxins. And I mean physically and mentally. So we start with this 4-day cleanse that I've come up with that really works for us, which is the first day is just lemon and water and turmeric all day. That's it, just a whole day of that. It's really fun. Yeah. But I did buy a new jug this year. I actually made it fun with a little spout, and we had to, yeah. And then the second day, you add fruit. You have never had an apple like you have the day after you've had only water and lemon and turmeric. It's like a steak dinner. You sit down to this apple, and it's amazing. And so the second day, we added fruit. Third day, you get to add vegetables. So we added broccoli and Brussels sprouts and all these other vegetable things, spinach and kale. And then on the fourth day, you add protein. And then your body is kind of not craving all the stuff you ate at Christmas. Anybody eat a lot of stuff at Christmas they wish they hadn't? Or no, they're glad they did. Aren't you glad you ate it? Yeah. Becky's like, I kind of liked it. Yeah. We're glad we ate it, but now we'd like to maybe eat a little healthier. Now, just take all of that and move it to your mind. You start cleanse day 1 with getting rid of everything out of your mind, not allowing yourself to do anything, but just allowing the truth to come forward. Meaning, anything that comes up, any worries, any doubts, any issues from the past or the future, they go. You're not eating those. You're not digesting those. The next day, you add fruit, nature's truth, nature's very own essence. So you start adding a little bit of Ernest Holmes, a little bit of spirituality, right? The next day, you add vegetables. Some people like them, some people don't. So I went to the Bible. I figured some people like it, some people doesn't. So I just added a little bit of Jesus. New Testament. Old Testament, still having issues with. So add a little Bible. And then on the next day, when you add the protein, now you allow yourself to go back and look at what you need to look at. So you're really putting the stuff in there and saying, now what do I do? What do I do with this? And your mind's clearer. So I'm telling you this not just because I want to, be happy that I did it and to tell you about it, but to give you an idea of what you could possibly do in a 4-day period, mentally and physically. Now, it just so happens I also lost 2 pounds. Kevin lost 6 pounds, I think. So that's good, because actually I had put on a couple pounds places I wasn't happy with. So now they're gone, and now I can keep going. So lean in 18. So the object is to clean your mind. Oh, I could have said clean in 18. Clean your mind. Lean, being lean, allowing your mind to literally do what it's meant to do. Ernest Holmes said this: through the power of our mind, we are continually creating the conditions of our life. Through the power of your mind, you are continually creating the conditions of your life. Today is a beautiful day to assess what are the conditions of your life. Recognize your mind put them there, and recognize the ones you like, expand, the ones you don't like, you have the power to get rid of them. He goes on to say, to be divine means to possess the power of creativity, to be capable of expansion. So we say, I am God. You are God. That means you're divine. To be divine means that you have the creative essence of life within you. That's why I'm starting my year off teaching Engage Your Creativity. That's where I want to go at the beginning of this year. So you are this creativity. To the degree that you engage it, you will expand it. To the degree that you engage it and expand it, you will experience it. Engage, expand, experience. Do you want to experience the power that you are, or do you want to experience the way you've been using your mind up to this point? Now, for some of you, it's like, yes, I do want to experience the way I've been using my mind up to this point. For some of you, I want to experience the way I've been using my mind. Know what you're doing in your life. How you use your mind. Keep talking about the things that don't work. Are you going to keep, as Deepak Chopra says, allowing judgment to step in and cloud your vision, your envisioning of your life? How are you going to use your mind? And are you aware that you're using it right this second and it's creating something? You are creating something. Every single conversation you have, every single reaction you have to anything, you are creating something. Ernest Holmes goes on to say, and I love this quote, we are chemists in the laboratory of the infinite. What then shall we create? We are chemists. I'm going to use a different pronunciation of this. We are chemists in the laboratory of the infinite. What then shall we create? Every single one of us has our own laboratory, or laboratory, whatever you want to say, here to create in. What will we create? This is a great moment right now. Just take a deep breath. Just ask yourself, what is mine to create? What will I create with this new day before me? And I'm just talking about today. What will I create? Don't get caught in that constant circling of I'm going to create out there somewhere, because if we keep telling ourselves I will create out there and here stay in proximity to each other forever. And there it is. It's always out there. How many times have we all experienced that? It's just always out there. It's always right there. It's always right there. It's always right there. When is it coming? The minute we decide. So, what will I create today? So, I love this quote of Ernest Holmes. He says this. He says, "What the world needs is spiritual conviction." The first Sunday of every year, many of the Science of Mind churches teach the first chapter of the book, which is the thing itself. I did it for the first 10 years of my ministry and then stopped. Today I'm doing a little bit. The thing itself. The thing itself is this: remember who you are. We've always taught in the past about the thing itself, what God is. But for me, I'm no longer interested in teaching what God is. I'm more interested in understanding who I am as God. That's the thing itself. I am the thing itself. You are the thing itself. There's not the thing itself and you. I don't know why I'm balleting up here. Creativity. Engage, expand, experience. So it's not the thing itself and me, it's I am the thing itself. I remember my very first Sunday as a minister on my own when I opened the center. And I got to the first Sunday in the new year. We opened on Christmas Eve, and my very first Sunday was like the next week. And I went back and read it. I was like, oh my God, you really said all that. I was comparing the thing itself to the thing in the Addams Family. My whole talk was about the Addams Family. My, how we have evolved. Although it's an interesting concept, but I'm not going there. So this whole concept of what the world needs is spiritual conviction. The real thing we need to convince ourselves of is that I am God. That there's no separation. There's no place where God isn't present, where I am. Wherever I am, God is. God is wherever I am. For all of us. It's all God all the time. All God all the time. We just forget. That's all. So what we need conviction about is that. What the world needs is spiritual conviction. And then I love this. That's by way of comma, not a period. What the world needs is spiritual conviction followed by spiritual experience. I pass it off to you. Don't you want to experience God? I do. I want to experience God, meaning I want to experience me. Get out of my head and actually step into my heart. Because my heart and my head are intrinsically linked to the degree that I remember that and stop focusing on all the clutter. Get back into my heart. So experience, I pass it off to you to take all of this and live it. I loved this morning when I left Studio City. It was really, how many people came from that side? So wasn't it really cloudy? It was like going through the mist. Foggy, that's it. It was all fog, and it was like awesome. And I'm driving through the fog and listening to Deepak Chopra telling me I'm judgmental. And I'm like, wow, this is an awesome trip. And then all of a sudden, you come over some hill and come into this valley, and it's just like, it was like the sun came, it was like Moses showed up and just said, part those foggy clouds. It was, did y'all experience that? All of a sudden, it's just like, wow. That's, for me, that was like, this is what this whole year is going to be about. I'm okay with the fog. I'm okay. It's quite beautiful because the fog is all the crap, all the stuff that I have experienced up to this point. I have to be good with it. I want to love it. I want to engage it. I want to be okay with it. But I also want at some point to walk out of that into this is God. This is the me I am supposed to be. Not supposed to by someone else, supposed to because I have decided and I've said, I am convinced this is the truth. So he says, I would rather see a student of this science prove its principles than to have him repeat all the words of wisdom that have ever been uttered. Prove this science. So are you ready to prove? Are you ready to prove this philosophy? Let's get science out of the way, because I know there are people in this room that have a problem with the word science. They're like, this isn't a science. Well, no, it's a philosophy, provable by science. But anyway, but if you stop at philosophy, that's fine, because it's still something to live. And I love this. This is 1927. In 1927, Ernest Holmes besieged us. Prove it. Prove this science. Prove this teaching. Don't just hear it. Don't just know it. Don't just be able to teach it, by the way. Prove it. Live it. The truth is, for me, if I can't live this in front of you, I can't teach it to you. That's the truth. So, trust me, that's why I consider my life such a transparent action, because I need to be just living this. And you know what? Not just for you, Eric Bork, not just for you guys, but for me. And I felt like Mama Rose just then. For me! For me! I could do that. Anybody know what I'm talking about? All the gay people. Okay, so, and some of the straight people that like musical theater. Got it. So it's got to be for me so that I can live this teaching, prove it, and therefore show that Ernest Holmes was right, because I believe he was. He goes on to say, I would rather see the students of the science prove its principles than to have him repeat all the words of wisdom that have ever been uttered. He says, what we would achieve must first be conceived. What we would achieve must first be conceived. Once conceived, no matter how high the aim may be, if we hold fast within our belief, it will be realized. So what are you conceiving for this year? What are you conceiving? What are your thoughts? And I love this when he says, no matter how high the aim may be. So I'm here today to invite you, go higher. Think higher than even what you think you want to achieve this year. Go higher. There is a limit to your mind, and it's self-inflicted. There is a ceiling to what you think you can accomplish. I always love when I talk about this particular topic because I think of Kelly Lang sitting here, who basically said, I'm sorry, women in journalism should be able to make exactly what a man makes in journalism. And that was how many years ago? Never mind. That was a few years ago. And she basically broke the ceiling for women in journalism on television. And there was a time when this woman was the highest paid journalist, female journalist on television. Right? Am I right? Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Are you willing to break that ceiling? Are you willing to go higher? There's no height that is out of the realm of what God can do. The problem for us is that sometimes we think there is a realm, there is a height that only I can reach, and it's here. There's not even a limit. There's not even a ceiling when it comes to God. Goethe said this, are you in earnest? I love that. Are you in Ernest Holmes or are you out? No. He said, are you in earnest? Meaning, I didn't see that when I first put it down there. I am in the mind of Ernest Holmes. Are you in earnest with what you want? For me, that means this. What you say you want to accomplish and be in your life, do you earnestly, honestly, decidedly believe in that? Or is it a hope? Is it something out there? Is it a maybe? That's what he's saying here. Are you in earnest? This is Goethe. Are you in earnest? Then seize this very minute. This very minute. Do you know that this minute right now is ripe for you to make a decision that will change where your life is going to go? You could be sitting here saying, I don't know, how would I really get what I want? How would I really go after that? Now you've stepped into the part that's not that important in this moment. Because once this is set, once the definite belief is set and you are convinced and clear, that all shows up. That all happens because the law of attraction brings whatever you need. But you must attract it. That's why it's called the law of attraction. You must attract it. What attracts it? Belief. Your beliefs. Are you in earnest? Then seize this very moment. What you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Only engage then, the mind grows heated. Begin, and then the work will be completed. What you can do or dream you can, begin it. Begin it. And the beginning starts here. You begin it by deciding. And if you've really decided, you will follow through. If you've sort of guessed it, you may or may not follow through, or you may give up. So here you go. Today's your day. This is the moment. This is the new year. And I pass it back to you. What do you want? Where do you want to be? A year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Where do you want to be in that moment when you know you're about to say goodbye to this world? When you're about to say goodbye to everything you know? Where do you want to be? You know, I think about my friend Bob, who passed a week ago. He had a saying. He kept saying every time I'd say, "Hey, how are you?" He goes, "Nothing hurts." And then he'd say, "I can honestly tell you, I have lived the most glorious life. I've never worked a day in my life because I always did what I loved." He said, "And people paid me to sing and dance." He said, "That was my whole life. People paid me to do what I do, to be creative." There's a man who got to the end of his life and said, "Yep, did it, been there, done that, ready for the next thing." That's what I want to be. That's where I want to be. And I want to make sure I did not leave anything undone that I wanted to do. Not that other people thought I should do, that I wanted to do. So I guess the first thing is, what do you want to do? Get clear. What do you really want to do? And if unfortunately you find yourself saying, everything I'm doing is not what I really want to do, then begin it. Because boldness has genius. Boldness has genius. Every single one of us is a genius in this room, but we must be bold enough to take action, to take that next step, that first step. I pass it back to you. This is the first Sunday of the year. I think today, each one of us can say to ourselves, I am ready to begin. So begin it. Namaste.